Hello. Good morning. Good Saturday morning. Happy full moon. Okay, there's my comments. Just wanted to make sure I can still see them. To make sure that I am on. Of course, Facebook is lagging or doesn't show. Let me see. It's been a hot minute since I have been here live, and especially using my laptop. So let's make sure I can share this. Let me go find it. Should show me. It says I am. Interesting. No, maybe I have to go to the event. I logged in from the event. Oh yes, it shows me. It's happening now. Interesting. No, maybe I have to go to the event. Now I can share it. I want to make sure it's on my profile so people can see it. Weird. Oh well, we're just gonna wing it. Anyway, happy Saturday. It really has been a hot minute. I don't know how much you've seen of my posts, and I have a brand new offer that I'm doing called Operations Cleanup, and that's what I have been posting for the last like 5 or 6 weeks, and that has been really, really good, and we'll go into more of that later. Let me get my candle lit. Grab your coffee or your tea or whatever. That's why I was a minute or two late, because I had to fill mine up. It's 9 a.m. Phoenix time, so I know it's a little later depending on where you are. With my fan blowing, if that's going to work very well, but we'll see. I had to grab a new candle the other day. The other one's burned up. Did you guys know that I pour my own pure, local, unfiltered beeswax candles? If you're interested in those, let me know. It's on Marketplace. You actually have a breeze. I'm sure my curtain's not going to make the light go funky. It's really, really bright on that side because the sun's coming up. But I'm really glad for the breeze. So, yeah. But yeah, have kinds of different candles. They are not like scented. There's nothing added to them. If you would like that, I can do custom, but they're energy infused. And if you know nothing about beeswax, shoot me a DM and we can talk about it, or go Google it, because burning any other kind of candles is not healthy. But beeswax cleans your air and helps with allergies and asthma and respiratory issues. It's awesome. And it smells so good. But that was a side note. How's everybody doing? I can't even tell if anybody is on. So we'll just wing it like there's a whole bunch of you guys. I posted last night. This was a very impromptu live this morning, but this is going to be weekly, every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. I used to do weekly card pulls. So Saturday morning oracles, 9 a.m. Phoenix time, every Saturday. I have missed this. So even if nobody shows up today, I don't care. It's awesome to be live. It's awesome to be back on here. And um, I posted about being in the Next Top Speaker competition back in March. And out of 8,000 applicants, it was a little over actually, I made it to the top 100 and never expected to go, into the top 100 and actually get to do my speech live. We recorded like a trailer video, and then the top 100 we did live in small groups, and then the top 50 went on. I made it through round one, but I made it to the top 100. That's like top 1.25%. So that was amazing. I had been super sick. I had been in and out of the hospital and super sick all of February, and then I pivoted with, this new offer for operations cleanup, and I really, really needed that. I needed to make that commitment and that singular focus because I needed healing time and I needed to take care of myself, and having that time where I'm not stressed about going live, I'm not stressed about making graphics or having photos, and all the things. I could just post about one thing. And I learned a whole bunch of new stuff. I created some really cool apps. So there's like an operations assessment, and there's an ROI calculator to show you how much your business could be losing if your operation foundation is not structured properly, or there is no structure. So go back, check my posts out, or message me if that tweaks your interest. But I'm learning to build these really cool customized systems, and I can do them for each individual business, and you have access to it on your own, but your team has access to it, and that's amazing. So it's been really, really awesome. And like I said, it gave me time to heal and to do the self-care and go deeper and get the clarity I needed on what direction I'm going. It was February, just the end of February, then I moved back into my camper. And the gal that I was staying with was having medical issues too, and she was planning to sell her house. So I moved back into my camper, and then being sick and being off work, it's been kind of a roller coaster, but it's been really good because it gave me that space and freedom to focus on what I needed personally, what I needed to do in my business. And yesterday was, I don't know how you guys felt about the full moon yesterday. I didn't even know it was full moon until last night when we were out driving and delivering. And it came in like a freight train yesterday, but then I realized almost wasn't until evening that I realized it's 5/1. It's May 1st, it's 5/1. I'm a 5/1 human design. No wonder it's been such an amazing day, and it's my energy signature. And I was like, so cool. I just went through the whole gamut, yesterday, and got so much clarity and how to pull all the fragments of me and my business and my life and my experiences and I guess how to pull them all together into something cohesive to offer and how to use that to serve. So stay tuned because it is a fire horse year and it's been fire. And I'm a fire goat, so yeah. But what I had talked about was the speech that I did for this next speaker, and I posted it. The reel is on my page, and I'll post it later on again. But I was sick. I was out of it. I had so much going on at that time that I didn't realize just how powerful that speech was. I had just come off two books that went international bestseller, multi-author books, and then, like I said, I was in and out of the hospital. I had surgery, I had recovery, and still was healing and had issues because the surgery didn't fix what was going on. But things are good now. And what I talked about in that speech was having people stop and think, and hand raising, have you ever loved somebody that you couldn't fix? Have you ever loved an addict? Have you ever loved somebody that was making choices that you didn't think were right or living in a way that you didn't agree with, whatever? You know, we we always, it's so much easier to look at other people and say, oh, that's good. But it's not our job to fix them. And son James told me that more than once, but he had told me that several times that, when he was here living with me before he died, he was in active addiction. He was actively drinking again and trying to find his way out of that darkness that he was in. And he just could not get there. But he told me, he said, Mom, you can't live your life around me. And at that point, I didn't realize how profound and deep and true that is, because I was living my life around him and not creating the boundaries that I needed and that he needed from me. And once I let go of that, and it wasn't even anything that I spoke out loud to him, it was just like a personal thing. It's like, he's right. I can't live my life around him. I can't try to control his life because that's not my job. And once I made that shift, it was just a few days later that he was gone. Well, a few days later that he got hit by a truck. And it took me I'd just lost a son 8 months prior. So yeah, the grief was extreme and we spent 5 days in intensive care. And I mean, it was irrecoverable brain damage, but he was an organ donor. He was a full body donor. And after, as we're getting ready, some of my kids were here, and I realized, and it was, I know it was him, but it was intuitive too. It's like, if his sole purpose was to save those four families from losing their loved ones. Who am I to argue with that? If he fulfilled his sole purpose, if that's the only thing he came for to fulfill, and he chose me, he gave me 29 years, who am I to argue with that? And who was I to try to control that? You know, not that I could stop or change the outcome, because it's none of my business. It's not my job. And I wouldn't have been able to change the outcome, even if I maybe delayed the circumstances or the timing or whatever. You know, we all have an expiration date, and we all have a purpose. So that was a huge weight off my shoulders. It was not up to me to save him. And I used the lighthouse metaphor, and that's one of the chapters that I wrote in one of the books this year. A lighthouse doesn't chase ships into the storm. It just stands and shines. And that's all we can do, is stand in our truth and make sure that we're in alignment and we are taking care of what we're supposed to do, and we're setting those boundaries, and we're not meddling in other people's business and interfering with their soul contracts and their sole purpose. Because when we're trying to control other people's lives, that's what we're doing, is interfering. And that's been a huge, huge lesson, that, you know, it wasn't my job to save them. And how proud am I that this boy chose at 16 years old to be a donor, and went on to donate to 4 recipients, and plus all the rest that we don't even know about, that, you know, tissue and bone and skin and whatever. How amazing is that? I can't be angry. I can't hold a grudge against him or God or whatever, you know, higher power or spirit, universe. We all are here for a reason. We all are here for a purpose. We all have soul contracts that we chose. And even though it looks like negative, it looks like awful, you know, no matter what it is, you know. Yes, I lost 2 of my boys less than a year apart. And no mom should have to go through that. No parent should have to go through that. And my kids lost siblings really close together. And that grief has taught me so much. And leaning into that portal of grief has burned away everything that's not important. And I call it, my tagline has been, this is not therapy, this is resurrection, because it really is. Because you walk through fire, you walk through hell, and you either get stuck there in that grief because you can't change that shift, you know, that mindset shift, and believe that it wasn't your fault, and believe that there could have been something you could have done or not done. It's not up to you. And yes, we're powerful, and yes, we have all kinds of gifts, and we can do amazing things, but we can't change somebody else's soul contracts. We can't change the lessons that they came to learn. We can't interfere with their journey and their path. We have to allow people to fail. We have to allow them pain, because that's what we learn from. That's what we chose. The things that happen in our lives, we chose, so that we could learn the lessons that we wanted to learn. That's been, it was hard to make that shift, even though I knew in my soul that it was true. it's still, the mom guilt still comes up every so often, but they remind me. Dougie told me, Mom, you are the miracle, and you kept us all safe and alive through all the bullshit, and it wasn't your job to save us as adults. And that's true. It's only my job to work on me. It's only my job to make sure that I am aligned and I am taking the right steps in my own path, and to let other people do it. We can walk beside them, we can support them, we can love them, but we can't force them to do anything. When you come to that realization and that truth, the grief is so much easier to process and accept. And yes, I miss my boys every moment of every day, but they're always with me. They're always with me, and they're always showing me signs and messages and talk to me. Yesterday, after the amazing day I had, with all the clarity and the whole gamut of emotions, I was excited and laughing and like, oh shit, I really have been dimming myself still. And then being able to see the clarity. And I was in tears. It was just a whole thing. And I had a headache all day, and then when I realized it was full moon, I'm like, oh yeah, duh. But it frees you from the stress and the worry and the trying to control things that are none of our business and not in our control. Because there is nothing we can do to change someone else's outcome. Not a damn thing. So that is my message. And I'm going to pull a collective card because, it's a Scorpio full moon. And you'll have to go check out. I don't know if I pinned it. I think I did, but the little thing about the Scorpio full moon that just blew my mind last night, and why it was so intense for me, and being 5-1 emotional generator and the date of 5-1. So there it is. Love and intimacy flow into my life effortlessly. This is my moon deck. It's gorgeous, and I haven't used this one in a while. And yes, love is the highest frequency. And we allow the love to flow and allow ourselves to create that intimacy with other people. We're not meant to do this life alone. We're not meant to do anything in this life alone. Yes, I'm solo, and I love my alone time. I don't plan on not being solo anytime soon, because it'll take a really, really special masculine energy for me to want to share my life. But we are intended to have other people around us, and we're intended to support each other and love each other and have that intimate connection. That is the thing that I have missed this last couple months, is not being connected, not being on here, live every day, and not interacting with the people that I care about, and just being self-secluded, kind of. Not that I was holed up in my camper all by myself all the time. I was actually still working as much as I could, because as a gig worker, if you don't work, you don't make money. But not being intentional about creating that intimacy and creating connections and nurturing those. And that's what the intimacy is about, is allowing others to see us and being there to see them. And that's all everybody wants, is to be seen and feel validated. So yeah, yesterday was great. So there's lots of, it's like a reboot almost. And I had put my podcast on hold or on pause, which actually was really good timing, because I have a full season of episodes that are out there. If you don't, I believe my podcast is linked in my bio. If not, shoot me a message and I will make sure it is. But there's only some episodes. So season 2 is going to be open, and it will still be live streamed. It is on Spotify, and that's where I host it, and then on YouTube, my YouTube channel, it also is live streamed video. And it's hooked, it lives on YouTube also. And then the rest, Spotify sends it out to all the other podcast gods. But that's all audio. So if you want to watch the videos, Spotify or YouTube is where that is. I'm excited because I had missed that a lot too. My podcast was extremely therapeutic for me and my guests. And the feedback was amazing. And so I'm excited to get started again. So I know that I had a couple people that were wanting to come on, but I was so sick I just couldn't do it. So I will be working on getting that up and running in the next few days, opening my calendar back up to let people schedule. And you'll be seeing me live every day again. And I have really been called to speak. And so I'll be doing a lot more intentional videos for now. And if you have speaking engagements, if you have summits or conferences, or you need a keynote speaker, reach out. There's a lot of topics I have a lot to say about. And I'll be posting a speaker section on my Canva website in the next several days too. But speaking out about the portal of grief and speaking to parents who've lost children, because that is just not the natural world. How to process through that and walk through that portal of grief. Talking about the trauma that caused the mental health issues and the addiction in my kids, because I wasn't the only one that lived through 30 years of domestic abuse. My kids did too. So all of those things, if you would like to do a personal oracle session, comment or send me a message. If you have a business that grew fast and you hired your team, thought that would help, but you're still too much involved in the daily operations, that's where I come in and go take that operations assessment and see where it's holding you back and why you aren't growing and where you're leaving money on the table. And then the ROI calculator will show you just exactly how much money that you're leaking or losing or potentially could be making because you don't have an operations foundation. And then get a hold of me and I'll come in and do an audit and show you exactly where your back end is failing or bottlenecking or whatever the case may be and how to fix it. And then I can come in and build those structures, build those processes, and not just the techie side, because yes, I'm a nerd, but not that much of a nerd. But I see intuitive patterns. I see things that most people don't. And I have that background in business and accounting and statistics and all that. But there's that intuition also and that energy to see the whole picture and be able to say, okay, this is where it's not working, or this is where it slows way down, or this is where you're too involved and you need to take yourself out because you didn't start a business to create another job. You started a business to have freedom and time. And if your business can't run without you for 24 hours or much longer, then it's more of a job. So that's what I'm doing most of right now. And that's been the offer that I've been promoting for the last 6 weeks, and super exciting and so vital, because if you don't have that foundation built, your growth stagnates and your structure can't hold any more growth and can't hold any more surges of income, because you only have so many hours in a day, just like always. So that's my shameless plug. But I'm back and I'm super excited. I'm also looking for referral partners and collaboration opportunities. So if you are open to those kind of things, message me and let's talk. It doesn't have to be super time consuming, referral partners. We talk about what each other does and we engage with each other's content, and when we talk to somebody that would be a fit, you refer each other. And so it's not like it takes any time, but having that support and not doing business alone is so much more fun and so much more productive. And collaborations can make a shit ton of money, and they should be. That's where people lose out or just don't even know what they're missing because they're not collaborating and they're not using the leverage and the contacts and the relationships that they have. So, yeah. And if you're interested in learning all about that, Network Like the Rich is an amazing group that Monique Alvarez hosts, and gosh, I've learned so much in the last little over a year. I think it's been right about a year since she's been back and doing Rich Mixer and Collaborate Like the Rich and Mastermind and all the things. It's mind-blowing once you shift that mindset and realize that you can have people beside you and working with you and not be in competition. Even if you do similar things, it's not in competition. It's in collaboration and it can be a lot of fun. So yeah, let me know if that piques your interest. But I am going to get off here, and if you're watching this on replay, I'm going to pull one more collective card. If one jumps out, oh, there it is. I shed habits that hinder my truth. I release and renew. That's exactly what I've been doing for the last several weeks, is releasing and renewing, and spiritually, physically, metaphysically. Uh, that's part of what was happening yesterday too, is releasing that uncertainty, and being able to see the clarity and how to bring all the fragments of me into something intentional and focused, where I can serve and still feel whole. And that's amazing. So have a wonderful rest of your Saturday. And if you'd like me to pull a card, if you're watching the replay, I'll take the first 5 comments, first 5 people that say, hey, I'd love a card, and I'll pull one for you and leave it in the comments. It might take me a day or so, but I will do that. And I will see you next Saturday, 9 o'clock, same time, same place. And I'll see you somewhere every day, because I am back to daily lives, because I really have missed it, which is hilarious. Bobby, if you're watching this, can you believe I just said that? I used to be terrified to go live, and now I love it. I'm going to get on with my Saturday and go warm up my coffee and have a great weekend and enjoy this full moon energy. It is powerful today.